Are you also aware that Miss Parr pays for band for the children?
No.
Okay. Are you aware that someone has to pay for it?
Correct.
Are you aware that she has a $3,000 payment coming up?
No.
Before we begin, we discussed possibly doing a temporary order. My client is currently has a wife that is pregnant and due in November. So instead of coming back, if the court would allow and everyone was still in agreement to proceed on a temporary order request.
Ms. Armstrong, do you have any opposition to that? It sounds like it might make sense if his wife is due in November.
Right. Another option, Judge, I was just thinking about is if the wife is due in November, I could do 2 different start dates. Mom is that way you don't have to come back. We don't have to do it. I can do 2 different start dates. So it would look like this. Child support for 2 children in this case would start July 1st, like we already agreed on the record, it would start July 1st, right? Then the amount would change starting December 1st, giving him credit for 2 kids on a different case, right? Adding in that other baby. Then I would do the step down for the minor child. That way they don't have to come back. We don't have to, he doesn't have to spend any more money with his counsel, and he gets the credit that he wants starting December 1st. And I think Ms. Parr is okay with that.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
And Ms. Klein, you're okay with that as well?
Yes, for now.
Okay. I guess let's get some testimony and see where this goes. But yeah, those are both definitely options.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. May I begin?
You may begin.
Thank you. Ms. Parr,
Yes, ma'am.
as the judge reminded you last time, we had some agreements on the record, and you still remember what those partial agreements were. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, one of those agreements we agreed to on the record is what Mr. Olzak's income was based on the last 4 quarters average gross monthly income. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And just to remind the court and everyone, that number was $9,549.36 monthly gross. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I just want to remind everyone of that number. Now let's get to what the child support calculated. Now, you understand that I had to calculate child support based on the family guidelines amount, giving him credit for taxes, union dues, that was on the record last time, as well as 1 child on another case with someone else. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
And that came to child support for these 2 children came to $1,615 per month based on the numbers that we remember from last time. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to start child support starting July 1st, 2025 at $1,615 per month based on these child support calculations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then child support would then step down to $1,169 per month when 1 child emancipates on this case. Is that right? I'm sorry, not $1,169. It would step down to $1,256, excuse me, per month. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you are willing to give dad some credit for cell phone bills that he pays for the 2 children subject of this suit. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it sound right that he pays about $87 per month for the 2 children's phone bills?
That sounds reasonable. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so are you willing to deviate just slightly to give him credit for that $87 a month cell phone bill he's paying for the 2 children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if my math is correct, instead of $1,615, which is what guideline says, that will lower it to $1,528, that $87 difference being for the cell phones. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so then you would want $1,528 to start July 1st, giving him credit for those cell phones. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then starting December 1st, his child support, his guideline amount would have been $1,480 per month. 2 children in this case, 2 children somewhere else. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
If we subtract that $87 again for the cell phone, then that $1,480 then becomes, my math is right, becomes $1,393.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
what was
ma'am.
that?
Is that correct? $1,393. Is that correct? That sound about right, Mr. Park?
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll be willing, even though the child's not born yet, you'll be willing to go ahead and do a second start date starting December 1st for that amount, and then do the requisite step downs as this 1 child in this case emancipates. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Klein, do you have questions for Ms. Parr?
Just quickly, Your Honor. Ms. Parr, you and Mr. Olzak were divorced on June 9th, 2021, and did an agreed final decree of divorce, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I ask the court to take judicial notice of the agreed final decree of divorce.
I take judicial notice of their agreed final decree. It did contain a super expanded possession order and set child support at $800 with a step down to $600. Take judicial notice of that decree.
Thank you. And Ms. Parr, under the super expanded possession order, on the first, third, and fifth weekends, Mr. Olzak would get the kids on Thursday prior to those weekends and ending at the time school resumes on the following Monday, right?
Yes.
And then on the non-weekends, he would get the kids after school on Wednesdays and return to school Friday morning, correct?
Yes.
And then in the summers, you guys would go week to week.
Yes.
And the holidays would be per the standard where you would get your spring break, he would get his, and you would each get your own Thanksgiving, and then you kind of split the Christmas, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree with me that Mr. Olzak has consistently and routinely exercised possession under the final divorce decree?
Yes.
Are you aware that Mr. Olzak has pled for a deviation on child support?
Yes. Go, darling. Go play.
How many other children besides, well, how old is Richard? The fourth.
He's 15. He turns 16 in October.
And how old is Fallon?
She just turned 14.
Do you have any other children besides those two?
I do.
And what are their names and ages?
Objection relevance, Judge, to current child support on this case for dad?
It's an additional factor to consider if the court were to deviate from guideline child support.
I'm not aware if she could quote what family code that is that takes into consideration mom's other children when dad is the one paying child support.
We're looking at Texas Family Code 154.123.
But number 7 does say whether either party has the managing conservatorship or actual physical custody of another child. So I'm going to overrule the objection, and you may answer.
How many other children do you have?
I have 2.
Okay, and what are their names and ages?
Glenda Lola Mae Parr. She's 3. And Cameron Lee Parr Jr. is 5 months old.
Okay. And do both of those children reside with you?
Yes.
And are you working?
No.
I pass this witness.
Okay. Ms. Armstrong, you may call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses, Judge.
Ms. Klein, you may call your witnesses.
Thank you, Your Honor. Cross petitioner calls Richard Olzak.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name for the record.
Richard Maurice Olzak III.
Okay. And you are the father of Richard IV and Fallon.
Correct.
And how many other children, as we sit here today, do you have as we sit here today?
1.
And what's the name and age of that child?
He is 1.5 years old, and that's Braden Alexander Olzak.
And you're currently married?
I am.
And your wife is expecting another child?
Correct.
And when is that child expected to be born?
November 4th
Of 2025?
of 2025 this year.
Is your current wife working?
No, ma'am.
Why is she not?
Because she's pregnant, it's gotten a bit too rough for her.
You have asked the court to deviate from guideline child support, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And if this court orders the child support at approximately $1,500 per month, would that cause you financial strain?
Absolutely.
Do I have permission to share?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna object for sharing as nothing has been admitted into evidence. I don't want to see the
I
court
would-
to see it yet.
Okay.
And also, I was never given any exhibits as well, so that's my other option.
Well, the 3 exhibits that we have that I'd like to move to admit would be his pay stubs, his 2024 1040, and a financial information statement.
And I would object to all of those, Judge, as his income is not in dispute. His income of $9,549.36 monthly gross was agreed to and testified by the child support officer last time and stipulated by the parties. So I'd object to all those 3 exhibits as being not relevant to what current child support should be.
The financial information statement is relevant for the deviation of guideline child support.
Yeah, I'm gonna grant the objection with regard to the pay stub and the tax return, was it? Because that was agreed to. But I agree the financial information statement has other information. So I'm denying the objection with regard to the financial information statement.
Can Ms. Klein send that to me? Because I have not received it.
Yes, can you share that, please?
So that's my other
Absolutely.
objection. It's not timely presented, does not give me time to prepare for it.
In light of this is 4D court, I'm overruling that objection, but please send it to her. And if we need to take a break, we will. We do this in lots of hearings in 4D court where we take long pauses for sometimes up to an hour. So we will do what we need to do to get this resolved today.
Thank you. Permission to share, Your Honor?
Actually, can you email it to her? Because I can't see it yet until it's admitted.
Sure. I don't, Your Honor, I apologize. I was on vacation last week and it was my first day back. I don't know if I have your email.
I'll give it to you, Ms.
Sorry.
Klein. It's CSD, it's our legal service email address for Lamarck, which is CSD dash
Oh, that
legal
one.
dash 1002. Yes, that one. That's where everything should be sent to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Apologize.
And Ms. Parr, have you received a copy of this exhibit?
No, ma'am.
If you could email it to Ms. Parr, she is pro se.
Did you both receive it?
I'm checking right now.
I did receive it, Ms. Klein. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to go ahead and, may I proceed, Your Honor?
Has everyone had a chance to look at it?
I've looked at it. Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we may continue.
There's a few errors on it that I will just have him correct through testimony. Regarding the income based on what was previously stipulated, but the expenses should be accurate. It looks like the income was created based on using some pay stubs. So that's going to be different than a totality that was previously stipulated. Counter petitioner moves to admit CP2.
Is there any objection to admitting
Yeah.
CP2?
Yes, Judge, I object to page 1 of the exhibit. I have no objections to page 2 of the exhibit. Page 1 states what his income is, net income, which again is my same objection. The income is already being agreed to and stipulated to. So I object to page 1 for those facts, but have no objection to expenses, which is only listed on page 2. So I'm okay with page 2 coming in.
The only thing with Your Honor is on page 1, it breaks down the deductions, retirement, the other expenses that would otherwise be taken into consideration and deviation that's not always taken into consideration in a when you do the standard guideline support. So I'm not moving to admit it to alter what has been stipulated as to income, but to alter or to offer the expenses and the other things that my client has coming out of his paycheck as a result to show why we're asking for a deviation.
Ms. Parr, do you have any legal objections?
The same as Ms. Armstrong.
Was it CP2 or CP1? I'm sorry.
The first page.
No, Ms. Klein was the name of the objection.
I see.
CP2, what's it called?
CP2.
CP2. Okay. I'm admitting CP2 into evidence.
Permission to share, Your Honor?
Ms. Harper, can you give her co-host, please, so she can share?
Mr. Olzak, can you see what's on my screen?
I can.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. We're gonna go past the income. So if we use the state's calculation for, well, real quick, what do you do for work?
I'm a UPS driver.
Okay. And so there are some months that you'll make good amounts of money and some months that you'll make not as much overtime, right?
Yes, ma'am. It all
Um,
depends on the route those days or that week and the
Your Honor,
amount
I'm
of
not object
overtime
to any
work.
kind of question that deals with his income and what he makes, as that was stipulated to at the last hearing.
Overruled.
So if you look at we're gonna go real quick here on your total resources, that amount is incorrect. If we're gonna use we're gonna use total resources of 9,500 just for purposes of this hearing, okay?
Okay,
Okay. These deductions here, you have you have retirement that comes out of your paycheck every month.
yes, ma'am.
How are you paid?
Electronically.
Well, are you paid every other week? Are you paid
Oh,
twi-
weekly. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then the child support here that comes out of your paycheck, that is your current amount of child support, correct?
Correct.
Then if we go down to your expenses, you're paying for the house, utilities, food, car payments. Are any of those car payments for the children?
No, ma'am.
And then if we scroll down a little bit further, your grand total monthly, I apologize, Your Honor, this was done without me seeing it. Let me just ask you this way. If this court orders the child support, right here, if we look down here, you're negative based on the current income and based on your current expenses. So if we were to add the additional 4,000 that's missing from the income calculation, you would basically break even per month based on the current child support. Would that be accurate?
I don't understand what do you mean?
Okay. Your current child support right now is approximately $800.
Correct.
Based on the income of 9,500, even though that was stipulated, you knew I disagreed with that amount, right? Based on, if you use the 9,500, taking into consideration your other expenses and your other deductions, you're basically breaking even each month with the current child support obligation per the divorce decree.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Currently, I'm barely breaking even some months. And I mean, it is what it is, but it's
If this court raises your child support to be close to $1,500, are you able to financially afford that?
no, ma'am.
Are you asking this court to deviate from guideline child support and to set it at $1,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And does that take into consideration that you have the children close to 50% of the time, and also the offset for the or for the cell phone allowance?
Correct. Which I didn't know when to speak up. I don't know where.
Objection, non-responsive after correct.
Sustained. Sir, just listen to the questions your attorney asks. She can ask more. She knows how to ask more if she needs to.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
What other reasons the code allows for any other reason consistent in the best interest of the children? What other reasons are you asking the court to deviate from guideline child support?
I don't understand. I mean, I would have to, I don't have enough time in my day to take on more hours. I don't know where I would get more funds to pay more money. We don't live lavishly. I make sure the kids have everything that they need, But bills being the
Objection,
way that they are,
non-responsive to her question.
I thought that's
Sustained.
what they were asking, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. If this court sets this child support at approximately 1,500 per month, would you have to lose time with your children in order to be able to financially afford that?
Objection calls for speculation.
Well, would you have to get a second job?
Objection calls for speculation.
I don't think it's speculation if he knows his finances, Your Honor.
Am I supposed to answer?
Overruled.
Yes, I would absolutely have to get a second job. My time being stretched as thin as it is, it would definitely take away from the rest of my time with the family. I would not be able to see them.
Objection, non-responsive at this point.
Sustained.
And when you heard Ms. Parr state that you consistently see your children under the super expanded possession order. What types of things do you and your children do together?
We play video games. We like to go out to my mom's house a lot. If we're not going to my mom's,
Objection, relevance.
I think it goes into a deviation requirement as to best interest as well as to possession. And if this court alters the child support to be the 1,500, he would have to get a second job and lose time with his children. Ultimately, that's a best interest factor.
That's not in evidence. So I will hold my objection as to relevance as to what they do when he's with his children.
Sustained.
I'm going to pass the witness.
Ms. Armstrong, do you have any questions for Mr. Olzak?
Yes, please, Your Honor. If I could share my screen with the CP exhibit number 2.
Is that the one that's the one admitted into evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
You may do so.
Thank you. And let me know when you can see my screen, Mr. Olzak.
Okay.
You able to see the financial information statement?
I am.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go down here where it says net income. Okay, so this is the amount that your attorney was questioning about. So this $2,274.59. That's your net income based on that.
Can you zoom in a little? Because I know I can't see that number. I doubt anyone else can.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, that's better for me too. Okay, so this net income down here, now this is your financial information statement. You recognize it to be the same as the one entered into evidence, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this says that you would have a net income of $2,274.59. Is that what this says right here, net income?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now this again was based on a wrong payment that you get, correct? This was only based on income of, I scroll back up, it was only based off of income of $5,100. Is that right? According
Correct.
to this.
But
Okay, thank you. And then, so we know that if your net income is 2,274 based on that number, and we know that your monthly gross income is actually about $4,000, $4,400 per month more than the number that this was based on, that this number would increase as well. Isn't that correct?
I'm not understanding. We're getting into jargon
Okay.
now.
No worries. So this net income says 2,274. You agree with that?
Yes.
You also agree that net income was calculated based on an income of 5,100. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it's calculated on income of 5,100.
You also agree that your income is actually $9,549 monthly gross that we stipulated to last week. You agree with that?
Well, that depends on which payment or what route I'm on and what month. I mean, honestly.
Object non-responsive to my question. Let me ask again. My question was, last week we stipulated that your monthly gross average income was $9,449. Isn't that correct, Mr. Olzak?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I add that extra $4,400 monthly gross, increasing your gross also mathematically increases your nets. This number here, don't you agree with that math?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it true that your visitation is not more than 50%. It's not even 50% when you add up the days that you actually have the children based on the app close app you and Ms. Parr use to calculate percentage. Isn't that correct?
I'm sorry, what was that question? I didn't follow it.
No, no worries, Judge. Do you also agree that y'all have a program called app close that y'all use to calculate percentage of visitation time? Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you also agree that for 2024, you did not have the children 50%? Do you agree with that based on the app close that y'all use?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you also, and you may not know this, but do you also understand that based on the Texas Family Code, you are given visitation and order to pay guideline amount according to what the legislature has designed it to be?
Objection calls for legal conclusion.
I said, if
Sustained.
you may know. Okay. Are you also aware that Ms. Parr pays for band for the children?
No,
Are your children in band?
they are.
Okay. Are you aware that it's not free?
I am aware.
Okay. Are you aware that someone has to pay for it?
Correct.
Are you aware that she has a $3,000 payment coming up?
No.
Okay. Have you ever? Okay. I pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Parr, do you have any questions that you would like to ask Mr. Olzak?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Klein, do you have any further questions for Mr. Olzak?
Just a few.
You may proceed.
The instrument, regarding the band, the instrument that Richard IV has, who bought that instrument?
Oh, me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And who pays for the repairs of that instrument?
I do.
Okay. And the band instrument that Fallon, is she also in the band?
She is.
Okay. And how did she get her instrument?
That I can't recall. And I want to believe that it was my brother, but I can't recall. So
And you and Miss Parr communicate using app close?
we generally communicate via Messenger and Facebook. We've been amicable, I guess.
Prior to the start of this hearing, did you have any knowledge or anything from Miss Parr indicating that there's a $3,000 payment coming up for band?
No.
Even though we stipulated to your your income for the 12 months being the 9,500, each month you don't make 9,500. Is that accurate?
I'm gonna
Absolutely
object
not.
to his income as it was stipulated to and not relevant for this hearing on current child support.
Sustained.
Your Honor. Okay. Pass the witness.
Does anyone have any further questions for Mr. Olzak?
No questions from Ms. Olzak. If I could recall Ms. Parr,
You may do so.
thank you. Ms. Parr, I'm sorry. I muted you earlier because of the baby. Do you mind unmuting yourself? Sorry about that. Ms. Parr, just a few more questions, okay?
Yes,
Based on
ma'am.
testimony. Now, your two children are in the band, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is band free?
No, ma'am.
And who's been paying for their band all these years?
I have.
Has Mr. Olzak ever paid half of those extracurricular activities for a band?
No, ma'am.
And you do agree that he paid, do you agree that he paid for Richard IV's instruments a while back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you pay him half of that instrument?
No, ma'am.
And did he pay you half of the band costs for the two children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So it's like a wash. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The fees are pretty expensive.
What are those fees for band?
For our son for last year, I'm sorry, I have it on my paper here.
Mhm.
It totaled $788.
And that was just for Richard IV's band
Yes,
fee?
that includes like their uniform. They need like special shoes, things of that nature, and it's a list that the school provides.
And did
For
Mr. pay
I'm
you
sorry.
half of those fees?
No, ma'am.
Has he ever paid you half of any of those fees for either Richard IV or for your daughter's band?
No, ma'am. And then for our daughter for this year, Hers, because she's moving into high school, so that's when these fees start. Hers is $406.25.
And
then,
that's coming up for the fall when she starts high school. Is that what you just said?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
And that's been paid as well.
Okay, and did Mr. Olzak pay you half of that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And if you were not to get the guideline child support minus the cell phone bill, would that cause a financial hardship for you and the two children you have with Mr. Olzak?
Yes, ma'am. It's already a struggle. We all know how expensive everything has been right now, especially food. And two teenagers eat a lot.
And y'all have the app close program that I spoke to Mr. Olzak about. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And in that app, are you able to count the percentage that each parent has with the children?
Yes, ma'am. It shows it on a calendar. And so I counted the physical nights because I know it goes by nights for each of us for 2023 and 2024.
Let's talk about 2024, so that's most recent. In 2024, did Mr. Olzak have the children 50% or more?
He had them 46% and I had them 54%.
Okay, so he did not, to answer my question is no, he did not have them 50%?
No. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and based on that and the hardship and all the band, you're asking for guideline amount for those reasons, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're still willing to give $87 a month credit for the cell phone bill?
Absolutely.
And you're also willing to start child support of $13.93 per month starting December 1st, which will give him credit for two children that he has with someone else. Even though that child has not been born, you're willing to start that December 1st. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Klein, do you have any questions for Ms. Parr?
Just quickly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did you happen to tell Mr. Olzak about the expenses per band that you just testified to?
I did not. And the reason for that has been
Objection, non-responsive after I did not.
Sustained.
Okay. How long have you not been working?
Since December or November, I
Okay.
apologize, of 2024.
And so are you capable of working or are you just choosing not to work?
Objection, not relevant, Judge. So what he's gonna pay her for child support?
Overruled.
Are you capable of working or are you choosing not to work?
At the moment, I'm not capable of working. I breastfeed my infant and I have never been able to pump with any of my 4 children. It just doesn't work for me.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Armstrong, do you have any further questions?
Oh, no, Judge, thank you.
Does anyone have any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to allow you all to make brief closing arguments. I guess we'll start with Ms. Armstrong since it's your pleading.
Thank you, Judge. We asked the court to approve the stipulations made last week, and the only remaining issue was current child support for today, Judge. We heard testimony from both parties. We've heard testimony of what guideline child support should be, which is $16.15 per month for 2 children on this case, 1 child with someone else. That's based on Texas Family Code. Mr. Olzak has failed to prove that he has the children 50% or more to deviate in that manner. The Texas legislators have set it up where a parent can have an expanded SPO and still pay guideline amounts. We also heard testimony that the children are in band, which is extracurricular activities, both children are, and that Mr. Olzak, while he did pay for 1 instrument a few years ago, there have been several other band fees that Ms. Parr has been paying on her own, which not only would it be a wash, Your Honor, he would probably owe her money at this point, if she were to take that up, but she's not. She's doing it by herself through testimony that we've heard, okay? Based on that, she's also willing to give credit to a child that's not even born yet, starting December 1st of that, to lower her child support to $13.93 at that time. Based on all these factors, Your Honor, we ask that child support be deviated slightly to $15.28 per month to give dad credit for that 87-month cell phone he has for the 2 children. And then, excuse me. And then for child support to then go down to $13.93 per month, starting December 1st, 2025, to give him credit for the unborn child that will be born at that time, around that time. And then asking for child support with one child on this case emancipate to go down again to 1148 minus whatever the $87 would be, which would make it the 1393, I believe. At that time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Klein?
Thank you, Your Honor. We've asked the court to deviate from guideline child support based on chapter 154, 123, additional factors for the court to consider. The big one is the amount of time of possession and access to the child. He has close to near 50% of possession with the children. To change the child support to increase to 1,500 is going to be a financial strain on both on his family, to which is not going to be able to make ends meet. Both mom and dad in this case are very in similar situations. Mom says she can't work with 2 young children because of not being able to breastfeed. My client's wife can't work because there's a young child and she's currently pregnant, not able to work while her difficult pregnancy. So in this situation, the state guideline child support is simply not in the best interest of the children. And we ask the court to deviate from guideline child support to be $1,000 per month. Thank you.
Ms. Parr, is there anything additional you would like to say in summary?
Only that it's not a true 50-50 split as has been claimed with time between me and Mr. Olzak, and that I believe guideline support is in the best interest of our children, considering I do believe that he makes enough to manage that as far as his income, and considering all the fees and stuff that are required of the children that I do pay because of him having paid for the trumpet. Other than that, there's not really anything else.
Okay. Thank you all. I'm going to take a moment to look at everything. I'll be back in a few moments. If anyone needs to use the restroom, feel free to do that.
Thank you, John.
Thank you all. After thoroughly reviewing all the evidence and the family code, I am going to order child support per guidelines with the deviation for the cell phone bill. And so I'm ordering, oh, is Mr. Olzak here? I'm sorry, I thought he was.
He's here, his camera's not on.
And he's also muted, so I'm not sure if he is here. I thought everyone had popped back up, but I guess. Okay.
I'm back, sorry.
It's okay. So I'm ordering that Mr. Olzak pay child support to Ms. Parr of $1,528 per month, beginning July 1st of 2025, with a step down to $1,394. I'm not sure it's really a step down, with a change to $1,394 beginning December 1st, 2025, because he will have a new child born by that time. So that's not really a step down or a deviation, it's a reason why it's changing. And then when there's only one child before the court, which is a step down, child support will be the $1,393 each month. I'm also, I already approved them last time, but I am approving the agreements from last time and ordering them. And so that included, and this is in no particular order, I'm sorry, court costs to be paid by Mr. Olzak to Galveston County by June 2nd of 2026. I'm ordering the child support judgment against Mr. Olzak in the amount of $7,035.39 as of May 31st, 2025. I'm ordering per the agreement that Mr. Olzak will pay to Ms. Parr $35 each month beginning July 1st, 2025 towards that judgment, with a step up, I think that says $398 towards that balance. And then when both children emancipate, there'll be a further step up to $1,670 per month towards that balance if it still exists. I'm ordering that Mr. Olzak provide private medical and dental insurance through his employer at the last setting, it was stipulated that costs $0 per month. I'm ordering that the parties each pay 50% towards any unreimbursed expenses. And I believe that concludes all the orders. Is there anything additional that needs to be addressed?
Oh, ma'am.
You covered everything, Judge.
Okay,
I just submit the order when I get the signatures.
once you have signatures, yes. I'm guessing the AG's office is changing computer systems today or later this week. So are you needing an entry date because of that, or?
No, I can get it over to the parties today, and I can
Oh,
just,
okay,
yeah,
great.
I already have it drafted. I drafted it last week.
okay,
I cheated and drafted it last week.
okay.
So
Not sure what to expect today.
yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
well, they'll be sending it to you very shortly then through DocuSign to review and sign off on, and then, yeah, once it's signed, just submit it for entry.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And are they free to go? Do you need them further, Ms. Armstrong, or should they just go down to DocuSign?
Yes, if they could return to their rooms, I'm almost done with it. I
Okay.
have to do 5 more minutes. I'll be done with the whole
Oh,
thing.
thank you. We can
Thank
stop the
you.
recording. Thank you. And we can stop the YouTube.